Dishonored is often praised as one of the best stealth games ever made, and to be honest, it's been over a decade since I last played it. So instead of jumping back in with some safe basic playthrough just to relearn the game, I figured why not make it a bit tricky for myself and do a challenge run instead. In this video, I want to take on a challenge that's been around for a while, but I haven't really seen that many commentary videos focused on it. And that's a full Dishonored run with no killing, no detections, and I'll also be doing this on the hardest difficulty possible, which makes guards highly perceptive, forcing you into stealth pretty much 24/7. There are 2 achievements tied to succeeding this challenge, and that's the goal. The first one is called Ghost, which means finishing every mission without being detected or killing anyone. And yes, that means you can kill the main target, but that's not what we're going to be doing today. This is a fully non-lethal run. The other achievement is Clean Hands, which is exactly as the name suggests. Beat the entire game without killing a single person. So yeah, with that out the way, let's jump straight into the start of the game. We begin the game from the perspective of a man named Corvo Attano, royal protector to the Empress, and we have just returned after being away for 6 months attempting to get aid from other empires during the rat plague that's going on. Before meeting the Empress to deliver a diplomatic response, we get interrupted by Emily, the Empress's daughter and future heiress to the throne. She welcomes us back and we play hide and seek. But you see, little did I know, little Emily has eyes on the side of a bloody head and we are immediately spotted, so runs over. Wait, what? How? Just kidding, luckily this doesn't affect the challenge at all, otherwise that would be rather embarrassing. We then make our way to the Empress, and on the way there, we admire a painting session going on between these 2 lovely gentlemen. After meeting the Empress and delivering her the letter, all of a sudden we're ambushed by assassins. Now, to not fail this challenge, I had to prevent myself from killing them, so I had to parry until they disappeared into thin air. And that was super easy, thankfully nothing went wrong at all. Never mind. They reappear and stab the Empress, kidnapping Emily in the process. We then get framed for this, which results in us getting whacked across the head, and from here the game truly starts. We wake up in Coldridge prison, and our goal is simple: escape this godforsaken prison and make our way to a mysterious boat waiting for us on the other side. And, we need to do this undetected without killing anybody. Now the first obstacle we're presented with is pretty simple. Wait for these 2 idiots to stop talking, let them walk off, knock this oblivious guard out, and simply crouch our way out of there. We pick up a few rations to survive and make our way into this door, where we pickpocket a key from an unsuspecting guard so we can unlock the next door. Now, you see, at this point it's smooth sailing. I mean, it's the first mission, right? So it's bound to be pretty simple. That's some foreshadowing, by the way. We make our way towards the control room and get past these 2 guys with relative ease. I'd say this first mission is definitely an appetizer for the rest of the game, teaching you the absolute basics. We knock out this conveniently placed guard right next to the conveniently placed object we're hiding behind, open the big door by controlling this lever, and this part, I'll be honest, it kind of annoyed me because after choking out this person near the entrance, the other guy conveniently decides to turn around at the perfect moment. For fuck's sake. Once again, we take out the guy near the door and this time rapidly make our way to the other guard before he turns around so we can knock him out. Holy shit. That scared the fuck out of me. We jump into the water below to escape into the sewer tunnels. After escaping the sewers, we watch 2 men get eaten alive by rats, so that's quite a pleasant sight. And here's the first use of Dishonored's clever mechanics, where you can toss a dead corpse to lure a bunch of rats that will devour the corpse, which you can basically use as a distraction to get away. We pick up the supplies left to us by our mysterious individual, we drop down behind this guy, knock him out, and it's a simple jog the rest of the way there to a mysterious man named Samuel, who, by the way, shout out to Samuel, what a real one. And just like that, we have completed the first mission undetected. Now, you see, my mistake was forgetting I had to do this undetected. And I realized looking back at the footage that I took my sweet ass time jumping off the bridge. So basically every guard behind me spotted me, as well as all the guards near the bottom. And so we start from the very beginning. And here we are back at the bridge, and this time I did not hesitate, and I made sure to jump off the left side so the guards at the bottom won't see me. We watch the 2 guys get eaten alive by rats once again, still very so tragic. slide under the tripwire, knock out this guy and his friend, dump his unconscious body into the deep water where I totally at the time did not realize he would drown, thus failing my challenge, and we made our way to the exit. Only to realize, yes, maybe dumping an unconscious person into a deep body of water was not the smartest move, as it does indeed kill him. And boom, we're back to square one. Now, I promise you the rest of this video wasn't as tragic. Fast forward, we watched the same two guys get eaten alive by rats, still awfully tragic. God knows what I'm doing here, but clearly it's not working, so let's try that again. We knock out this guy and his friend, but this time, we don't make the same mistake of tossing his unconscious body into a deep body of water. And just like that, a simple jog to the exit. And finally, we have completed the first mission undetected without killing anybody and without being detected. Now yes, I could have easily edited the two fails out of this video, but you know, where's the fun in that? We then make our way to our safe hub for the remainder of the game, which is the Hound Pits pub. Now we're not going to focus too much here for the video, as it's just a safe house between each mission. We arrive here and meet two men, Admiral Havelock and Lord Pendleton, two pretty important people who want to fight back against the Lord Regent and end his tyranny to restore the throne to Emily, who as we know we saw get kidnapped. We get our assassin mask from Piero and make our way to our bed to get some rest. But you see, as we wake up from our beautiful sleep, all of a sudden, where the hell are we? It turns out here is where we meet a mysterious individual named the Outsider, who gives us the power to be able to teleport. And this power will help us out massively, as this is pretty much the appeal of Dishonored. Now after a very basic tutorial with the blink ability, I decided to use a rune to unlock the dark vision power, as that will let us see through the walls. And this will be pretty handy for staying undetected. Our second mission has us travelling to the Distillery District to find and take out a man named High Overseer Campbell, who leads the city's militant religious faction, and steal his journal. We do this because apparently he holds the location to where Emily is. Now before we travel there, we are interrupted by a girl named Callista, who wants us to find her uncle Jeff Curnow and protect him from Campbell, our main target. As you see, it turns out Campbell wants to poison Curnow because apparently he's too resilient, or you know, something like that, I don't know. We make our way to the Distillery District, and our first course of action is to get to Campbell. But to do so, we need to remain undetected and get past a bunch of obstacles in our way. The first of which is knocking this guard out and dumping him where nobody can find him. Now, you see, at this point the game gives you plenty of different pathways to take for this mission, especially to get past this wall of light which will electrocute you. And I chose my Assassin's Creed routes and chose the rooftops. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to be stealthy on the rooftops? And just like that, we've managed to very easily get past the first wall of light. Now from here we continue to maneuver our way rooftop to rooftop and make it past the second wall of light. Now we have one more objective in the area, and that's to get to that door right there undetected. Now this is pretty simple, the game has so many little pathways you can take, so I opted to go to the left side, and with a couple of teleports we almost got detected, but luckily it was only 2 bars full, so we made our way to the door without any real issues. Once past the door we encounter a pretty peculiar situation going down. A man named Overseer Martin, who's actually on our side, is being held there, so let's go help him, why not? Maybe he'll tell us some secrets. After knocking out the guard that's interrogating him, we free Martin, and he tells us absolutely bloody nothing. In fact, he tells us literally everything we already know, so that was pretty pointless. Once that's over, we're presented with a sticky situation. We need to get over there, but there's a bunch of guards down below. However, with some creative thinking, and by creative thinking I mean failing to teleport a bunch of times and ending up forced into this position, we successfully make our way to the next area. Now from here I found this note, which actually does help me out a lot, as it turns out Campbell will be meeting Curnow in the meeting chamber where they intend to share drinks, and I assume that's where he'll also attempt to poison him. But we of course can't let that happen. So we make our way to the meeting chamber by using the game's beautiful teleporting onto the ledges of buildings into the conveniently opened window. Now at this point, you see, I realized, wait, I'm supposed to non-lethally take out Campbell, and I noticed it says branding instructions right there, which intrigued me, and this will help in non-lethally taking him out. I read through it and found out I can use a heretic brand and stamp it straight into Campbell's face. Instead of killing him, it marks him as a traitor, completely ruining his status, and the game still counts that as eliminating the target. Now to be fair, that's way more fitting than just stabbing him. So now I need to figure out how to knock Campbell out without a single person noticing, pick up his body and drag him all the way to the interrogation room, and that's where the branding happens. So we make our way to the meeting chamber. We spill the glass so both Campbell and Curnow do not get poisoned, and we just wait.
I don't understand how this got so unpleasant.
Oh, I agree. A whore dies and suddenly this. Will you have wine? It's a Tivian red.
Thank you.
What up? Who's been in here? I owe you an apology, Captain.
After Campbell notices the drink has been spilled, he comes up with the idea to take Colonel down to his secret room, where he has a special vintage drink waiting for him. And so I followed them. But you see, in doing so, I kind of messed up. I tried to teleport above them, but ended up failing completely, which resulted in me being spotted. So attempt 2. Now this time, don't ask why, but I thought I was smart, and I decided to sleep dart Colonel so he's not dead, but I didn't realize Campbell runs away like a little bitch, so that didn't work at all. Attempt 3. Now this time I decided to hide under the table just to switch it up, but somehow I got detected, so I failed again. Attempt 4. I decided to just wait patiently and follow them to the secret room, and at this point I realized, who gives a shit if Colonel dies, because I'm only here for the main target. And so I waited for Campbell to kill Colonel, and then I snuck up behind him and knocked him out. And everyone is happy. Well, except for Callista, because I ended up letting her uncle get killed, but who cares, she'll have to live with it. After knocking Campbell out, I then had to take his unconscious body back to the interrogation room, which I figured would be quite tricky, but it was actually way easier than I expected. All I had to do was just stay up high on the lights and ledges and voila, brand him as a traitor. And just like that, my job here is done. All I had to do was make it back to Samuel. But before actually going back to Samuel, I spotted a rune that I just had to get, as collecting this rune would allow me to upgrade my teleport ability to level 2. And this will let me teleport to further distances. And just like that, the second mission is successfully completed undetected and also with no kills. After making it back to the Hound Pit's pub, I stocked up on spiritual remedies because, these are pretty much overpowered, as that's all you really need for the challenge. And then we head off to sleep. After waking up, Havelock tells us to go to the sewers because apparently down in the sewers there's some weepers that we need to take care of. Now weepers are, I think, basically Dishonored's version of zombies, and we're told to take care of the situation. Now this part is kind of straightforward, but it's still a little bit tense. There are 2 weepers, and the detection range for these weepers is actually insane. The first one isn't too bad though. I managed to hit him in the back with a sleeping dart before he even notices me, so he goes down without dying. The second one is way more annoying. He's basically glued to one spot unless he hears a noise, and that gave me a light bulb idea. So I thought, why not intentionally make some noise by running on the spot? And this worked, because he turned his body towards the noise, and that gave me the opening. I teleported behind him, put him to sleep, and just like that, the game counts it as a success. Even though I put zombies to sleep. Not sure how that works, but hey, efficient, easy, and most importantly, no killing and no detections. So far so good. And the next mission has us travelling to the Golden Cat, and I'm sure for you Dishonored fans out there, you would know what this place is. It turns out Emily is being held there by the Pendleton twins, Custis and Morgan, 2 rich, corrupt aristocrats who are fully on the Lord Regent's side. Now our job is to deal with them and get Emily out. Pretty simple. Now the second we arrive, people are literally getting blown to bits, so that's a great sign. That's exactly what I wanted to see. But going straight into the Golden Cat with no plan feels like a recipe for disaster. So I decided we're gonna head to this spot, the Dunwall Whiskey Distillery first. Now while hopping across rooftops, I kind of stumble into this sketchy guy who is very clearly an assassin. I'm pretty sure I accidentally interrupted some kind of unskippable encounter that we're supposed to see. So hey, I'll take that luck. I knocked out the assassin, and then I spied his assassin friends hiding nearby on rooftops. And so I wait for the opening, teleport over, put the second one down, and deal with the last guy who was, yeah, I don't know what he was doing. No idea what their story was, but I guess it's over now. From there, it's an easy walk to the distillery. Now thankfully it's a neutral zone, so no stress about detections or killing. Although there was this one guy who almost tempted me to blow his bloody brains off.
Don't make me take that away from you.
What?
So it turns out a man named Slackjaw has a job for me. And if I do this job for Slackjaw, he will literally take care of our 2 main targets without killing them. And that's perfect. That's just what we needed. But you see, the problem is the job he wants me to do is to break into a big ass apartment and figure out what the hell happened to his friend Crowley. And so off we go. Now once again I almost blew somebody else's brain off for spitting at me and shit talking my beautiful assassin mask. Ain't no way you just spat on me.
Hey, you in the mask.
What?
You look like a clown.
Oh, fuck you. Getting to the apartment seemed relatively easy, as it was just a few seconds walk away from the distillery. One thing I've noticed that in Dishonored, when you mess up your teleport, almost always you fall into something that's bullshit. For example, I try to teleport onto this pillar, only to fall, and then I proceed to stumble into a goddamn Reaper. At this point, I figured the smartest play was using those high ledges, because high ground in Dishonored is basically cheating. So I hug the side of the building, teleport up behind the guard overlooking the balcony, knock him out, and make our way into the apartment. Now it's indoor stealth, which I absolutely despise, but hey, one thing I knew for sure, I needed to go up those stairs right there, but there was this guard blocking the path, and so I waited for the perfect moment for him to turn his back, and then I knocked him out. Once upstairs, I've got two options, the main door or the side route to the left. And let's be honest, no self-respecting assassin is using the front door. I wait for the two guards to finish their conversation, I sneak in, I see Crowley's dead body just there on the table, grab the letter next to him, and that's, really all I needed from this place. So we backtrack out the same way, head out through the balcony and return to Slackjaw. I handed over the letter to him and he keeps word. He gives us a key to a building that will let us enter the Golden Cat nice and easy, which is literally music to my ears because that's my golden ticket for a non-lethal takedown. But what he wants us to do is enter the Golden Cat, track down an art dealer and force the art dealer to give up a code to his safe. Now, to be honest, at this point, I'm down for whatever weird side objective helps me finish this mission without killing anybody or getting spotted. And so it's time. Infiltrate the Golden Cat and find this art dealer. Making our way there is pretty straightforward. Just teleport as high as you can on rooftops and ledges. But you see, I need to get to that building's front door. And the problem I have is there is this big robot detector light thing blocking my way. So I teleport behind it, remove the whale oil and stop it from operating. With that out the way, we can safely head towards the building that leads straight to the Golden Cat. Now here's where things get messy because I've got a few options to choose from. There are a lot of ways inside. Left, straight through the middle or the right side. Naturally, I picked the left. And naturally, I chose the worst possible choice because, that plan goes nowhere. So we pivot. Right side it is. I stick to the wall from above and finally slip inside. Now, from here I've got a few options. Because I could go find Emily, I could deal with the Pendleton twins, which obviously is not going to happen in a no-kill run, or I could find the art dealer. Now, finding Emily sounded like it could get annoying later on, and so I decided to handle that first. I poke around an office, learn that she's being kept in a dormitory on the top floor, and very quietly make my way up there without being spotted, which was surprisingly easy. Once I find Emily, she leads me to an exit and tells me she'll wait by the boat. And now all that's left is getting the art dealer to spill the safe code and return to Slackjaw so he can handle the twins. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Now, getting to the art dealer was never going to be easy because he's of course sitting right there in the main area of the building. Trying to reach him from the inside was going to be tricky, so I switch it up and decide to go vertical. I parkour my way up the outside of the building, reach the rooftop and take out the one guard up here. And then I immediately fuck it up because, I'm an idiot. So yeah, reset, take two. I knock out the rooftop guard again, but this time I actually pay attention and spot an entry point just below. I drop down, knock out the guard on the balcony and finally make a clean move towards the art dealer. Now when I get to him, I quickly realize this guy is a bit different because he has a strange kink to being shocked. A few kinky zaps later, he panics and gives up his safe code. And now from here, it's just a straight backtrack out the way we came. Oh, and on the way out, I ran into this random granny who seemed quite nice enough, so she lives. I totally don't expect her to be some crazy witch or something later on, right? Right? Anyway, I bring the code to Slackjaw, and whatever horrifying thing he does to the Pendleton twins is not my problem. We head back to the boat where Emily and Samuel are waiting, and just like that, 0 kills, 0 detections. Now back at the safe house, everybody treats Emily like royalty, and we regroup with Havelock and Martin to figure out what comes next. Remember this painter from the beginning of the game? Well, you see, it turns out he's actually Anton Sokolov, a royal physician to the Lord Regent. Basically the bad guy, and our job is fairly simple. All we have to do is kidnap him, which for the sake of this challenge is a relief. Our first step before kidnapping him is to disable the lights on the water, which makes it easier for Samuel to pick us up once we've got Sokolov. So off we go. Now, first things first, I sneak up to the roof and make my way past these two guards that are speaking to each other, and then we proceed into this building. Now from here I have to power up this wagon so we can transport ourselves from where we currently are to being one step closer to the drawbridge lights, that's where we need to be. And from here we avoid the multiple guards and make our way to the next area. After teleporting and parkouring our way from building to building, we make our way to the place that we need to be to disable the lights. Now, you see here, there's a few pathways I can take to go about this. One of them is the middle right here. Maybe I can climb this, so let's give it a go. Oh fuck. Okay, maybe not. Attempt 2. How about we do things the old-fashioned way and just go for a swim by making our way into the water on the left side here. After a few teleports, I managed to make my way up the tower, narrowly avoiding every guard and finally disabling the lights for Samuel. And now all we have left is to make our way to Sokolov's house and kidnap him. Now you see, at this point it's going pretty well. We have to get past this area and it looks similar to before, but there seems to be a few different ways. Maybe I could swim in the water towards that rock, teleport up there and make our way over the gate into the next area, so let's try that. Never mind then, it turns out I can't reach up there with my teleport. Now the second route I tried to take was this one, the right side. Let's get up there. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, let's try that again. Now, I noticed that the spinny wheel is connected all the way into the building that I'm currently standing on. And if I disable the wheel, then maybe I can go to the stopped wheel and make our way over the big gate. So let's try that. I take out the guard below me, I flick the switch and voila, the wheel stops. All I have to do is make my way over there, disable the wall of light and hop over the big gate. And, just like that, we make our way one step closer to kidnapping Sokolov. And from here, I teleport from rooftop to rooftop and make it to Sokolov's house. Now at first, my plan was to disable this alarm by rewiring the circuit next to it. But you see, as I went over there, I kind of fumbled a bit. But hey, the good thing about Dishonored is there are plenty of paths to take. So I somehow found myself under the house and I took a ride on this water wheel and made my way into Sokolov's house from underneath. Now as I tiptoe around to find Sokolov, I overheard somebody mentioning that he might be upstairs somewhere. So I figured he must be all the way at the top of this building. After a couple of clean teleports into some really nice spots, I'm basically cruising straight to him with no resistance. And yep, there he is, just chilling in his greenhouse. I then proceeded to knock him out. Now before leaving, I noticed how deranged this man is, as he has a random girl locked away inside a cage being used as a test subject, whatever that means. Anyway, with Sokolov on my shoulders, all I have to do now is make my way back to Samuel, and this part was very easy. Just a few teleports from above to down below and there we have it. Another mission down with 0 kills and 0 detections. Back at the Hound's Pit pub, I happened to stumble upon Piero being an absolute creep. I mean, how dare he, right? I would never peep into the keyhole to stare at a naked woman taking a bath. That's just not me. Anyway, the next mission sends us to the Boyle estate for this big masked party. The goal here is simple on paper, but very annoying in practice. I need to figure out which of the 3 Lady Boyles is the real target and take her out. The problem is nobody actually knows what Lady Boyle looks like because it's a full-on costume party, so everybody's masked and completely indistinguishable. And the mission is one of the more trickier ones to do, but we can do it, right? Now, the moment we arrive, there are these big watchers just prowling the streets, so I'm forced to sneak around towards this small metal bridge and head over to the Boyle party. Now, the problem is I have no invitation to enter, and where on earth am I going to find an Oh, would you look at that? An invitation floating away, how very convenient. Once inside, I overhear a couple of party guests talking about somebody named Esma having a balcony. Now, I make a mental note of that because that feels like information that's definitely going to matter later on. As I step further into the estate, it really hits me that this mission is going to be a painful one. Everybody is masked, and there are 3 different Lady Boyles wandering around, and I have absolutely no clue which one I'm supposed to deal with. I end up stealing this ugly whale mask guy's woman, so that's my bitch, and she asks me to grab her a drink, and so I do. When I give her the drink, she surprisingly drops some useful information. It turns out Waverly Boyle is wearing white, and Lydia Boyle is dressed in red. Now that helps a lot because now I've narrowed it down to 2 out of the 3. So when I see a Lady Boyle in red like this, I know for sure that that's Lydia Boyle. I managed to stumble upon another Lady Boyle, but this one is in black and we don't know her name yet. Or rather, I thought we didn't. Remember earlier? Didn't those 2 party guests say that a woman named Esma has a balcony? I can only assume that this is Esma Boyle. So that means I assume that she's our target. But you see, the problem is, how on earth am I going to non-lethally take her out in the middle of a big party that's full of people? Now at this point, I decided to go outside and check on that balcony that Esma apparently has and see if there's anything useful up there to help me with this mission. And after teleporting up to the balcony and making our way inside, I found Esma's diary, where it turns out that Esma is a goddamn freak. Like a literal freak. She says she wants to have sex with the first man that asked for it, as well as the second person too. And that gave me my light bulb idea. Why don't I just go down to Esma and lure her into her own bedroom and knock her out right there? So let's do that. I exit the balcony and make my way back into the estate. And there she is. I decided to flirt with her and one thing leads to another, but suddenly we're walking together to her bedroom. And just like that, I knocked her out. But then I realized, wait, the mission is not a success because it requires us to eliminate her, not knock her out. And at that point I realized I probably messed up, and so I just dumped her unconscious body into the bathroom and made my way back to the ground floor where the party is happening. Now after exploring for a couple of minutes, I managed to stumble upon this strange fellow who wants to speak with me privately. It turns out that this guy is in love with Esma and he can help us get rid of her without me needing to kill her, and that right there is music to my ears. And all I have to do is bring her unconscious body to the cellars. So back we go to retrieve her body from the bathroom and take her there. But as I'm stealthily going down to the cellars, I noticed that there was this woman that kept getting in the way. So I unfortunately had to deal with her. I knocked her out and dumped her body into the bathroom. And all I had was a straight path from the bathroom to the cellar. And just like that, target neutralized. Now, I don't want to add 2 and 2 together, but this is kind of creepy. The fact that I just willingly gave up Esma to a random guy and he sailed off into the distance, oh well, not my problem. We then make our way back to Samuel, narrowly avoiding a bunch of watchers and guards, making use of the teleport skill to get back to the boat. And after a few narrow escapes, we finally made it back to Samuel. And there we have it, another mission down with no killing and no detections. With Campbell branded as a traitor, the Pendleton twins handled with, Sokolov kidnapped, and Lady Boyle taken care of, it's time to finally take out the man himself, the Lord Regent, and doing so will cause Emily to be crowned the new Empress. So we return to Dunwall Tower, you know, the location from the beginning of the game where we witness the Empress die and Emily be kidnapped. And here our objective is very simple, take out the Lord Regent. Now since this is a non-lethal run, I have to find a unique way to do this, but we're gonna manage. Upon arriving at Dunwall Tower, I make my way up and up, avoiding the guards and teleporting to the roof. And from here we can get a great look at everything in sight. Now, I do believe there is a few ways to enter the main building, but a lot of them seem heavily guarded with either watchers or guards or even lights. However, this right side seemed to be the least guarded, and so we make our way to the right. After realizing that this is not Assassin's Creed and I can't hide in a bush, I do get detected and so we restart. Attempt 2. This time I avoided the bush and teleported my way, hugging the right side where I come to this empty area. And this area seemed like there was no threat at all. In fact, the only threat in this area was the one guard that patrols around. But with a very fast knockout and dumping of his body somewhere secluded, I made my way forward. Here I teleported to the ledges of the buildings and voila, we are now inside. It's pretty simple, I'll be honest. Now at this point, the game expects you to sneak through this big tower and track down the Lord Regent directly. But that's not what I'm here for. My mission is a non-lethal takedown. Now the good thing about this mission is it is surprisingly forgiving. Instead, I take a sharp right and walk straight into the broadcast station inside Dunwall Tower. This is where the guy sending radio messages to all of Dunwall is stationed. But wait a minute, I just realized something. How did I even have the key to get into this building? That did not feel intentional. So I went back through my footage to see when I picked up this key. And it turns out it came from the Boyle estate mission. Remember Esma Boyle's bathroom on the 2nd floor? Well, inside there was a chest, and inside the chest there was a key. Now I had no idea it was gonna matter this much later on, so I'll take that stroke of luck. Back in the broadcast station, the broadcaster explains that the Lord Regent recorded himself confessing to a bunch of awful stuff. If we can get that recording and play it publicly, his reputation is absolutely finished, and he will be exiled. The catch is that the recording is locked away inside of his safe. Luckily, the broadcaster somehow knows his code. So we head to the Lord Regent's room. Now this part is really easy. There are no guards in the way or detection, so I just slip in. I enter the code in his safe, I grab the confession recording and head back. Once it's loaded into the broadcast system, the entire city hears it. And just like that, the Lord Regent is done. Oh, and what's cool about this encounter is that you can actually see the guards dragging him away afterwards, which I'm pretty sure is a secret encounter. After that, all that's left is getting back to Samuel. I backtrack the same route I came in, teleport down from the rooftops, avoid the guards, dive into the water, and that's it. Mission complete. No kills, nobody spotted me, and now it's time to put Emily back on the throne. After returning to a warm welcome and congratulations from everyone, we share a drink with Pendleton and Havelock and head off to sleep for the big day tomorrow. But as we're about to go to sleep, It turns out I was poisoned by those two pricks and backstabbed. Luckily, Samuel only gave me half the poison, as he believed I would survive, so shout out to Samuel. We wake up on a boat surrounded by assassins. And by the way, the DLC for this game that's focused on Dowd the Assassin is absolutely incredible. Anyway, our mission here is a pretty tricky one. And I'll be honest, this mission specifically, named the Flooded District, was quite a lengthy mission to get through. We basically have to escape from where we're being held. We have to confront Dowd the Assassin and make our way out of the Flooded District back to the pub. Now, first priority is getting my goddamn gear back, because I am not leaving without my gear. I had around 10 elixir potions on me, and for this challenge, those are basically oxygen. I head upstairs since the lower area is flooded and absolutely packed with those lovely man-eating fish. We take out this assassin without his buddy realizing and toss his body into a safe spot. We then go back for his friend. We knock him out and also move his body into a safe spot. Oh. Yeah, let's try that again. Okay, this time we toss the second guy somewhere else so he doesn't fall into water. And now we move on. I managed to traverse the deadly water, get spit out by these weird plants, but luckily they don't count as detection as they are not considered enemies with a detection meter. And with a couple of teleports, we make our way to the next location where our gear is waiting for us. But there's a problem. The gear is in a very awkward location. After a couple of small jumps and a bit of teleporting, I managed to finally make it one step closer, only to stumble upon whatever this is, an interaction with assassins that isn't skippable. And because of this, I ended up failing, so we restart. Now for the next attempt, I managed to very quickly slip into the building before any of those assassins could detect me. Now my gear is all the way down there, and the only way to get down there is to lower this metal gate. And to do so, we have to pick up this sword, break that wood, get an oil tank and fill it up with whale oil, and just like that, the gate has been lowered. I then make my way down and retrieve my gear with absolute ease. And from here, I made my way closer to Dowd's base to figure out how on earth to get out of here. I wait for this assassin to walk by so I can knock him out from behind, as it turns out this particular assassin has a pretty important key which I'll be needing quite soon. Now here's my plan from this point on. I need to get to that door right there, but as you can see, it's full of assassins in the way. So in a very optimistic fashion, I just teleport behind the assassin on the roof and just crouch walk closer to the door, teleport to the door, and just like that we use the key we got and have escaped another area undetected. Now, I'll admit, I failed at this next part quite a few times. I need to get to that window right there. But you see, the problem is there are a ton of assassins around this area. Now, at first, I decided to hug the right side, only to realize that this level is very strict. You cannot teleport your way onto that statue or many of the ledges. So I just swim my way up, hoping to stumble into something. And what do I stumble into? Bloody guard dogs. Now at this point I'm panicking. I can't teleport anywhere, and unfortunately I reset the mission. And now we're back here. This time I go under, but the assassin that's all the way up there doesn't move at all, and he spots me immediately. So attempt 3. Now for this attempt, I realized the only way to avoid that assassin up there is to jump onto this railing ledge and teleport a few meters out of his vision cone. And now from here I managed to get lucky and just fluke my way around by teleporting. And I made my way around the middle building where I can sneak my way into the main window. Now here are 2 assassins blocking the only direction I can go, so I waited for them to stop talking and made my move. Knocked out the assassin that's blocking my path, I hid his body so nobody can find it, and I moved one step closer. Now this next room is pretty simple. All I have to do is take a sharp right and head up to the next floor. But without realizing, I immediately got detected, because there happens to be an assassin that spots me the moment I enter the window. So this time I wait for him to pass. I knock him out and hide his body where nobody can find it. Hopefully he doesn't fall off, right? Now from here we have made it to Dowd. This is where something incredible happens, so just watch this. I observe the conversation that's happening between Dowd and his goons. I wait for the right moment to teleport, and just take a look at how lucky I got here.
Just to put a piece of sharp metal in your eye. But now there's no need. You've been taken down by the same apparatus that gave you life to begin with. Laws and courtrooms.
How the fuck did I not get spotted? I was literally in Dowd's face, but luckily he was looking towards the right side, I guess, so hey, I'll take it. We press on. All we have to do now is escape into the tunnel, and this part is super simple. Just teleport under the stairs, avoid this assassin because we don't need to knock him out, and just like that we're in. That part of the mission is complete. We spared Dowd, as you can see top right, so we didn't need to kill anybody, and we did it all undetected without killing a soul. Now luckily this next part of the mission is to make it back to the Ham Pits pub, and this one is pretty simple. There are maybe a few annoyances, but nothing too crazy. The only problem I had are these watchers that are roaming around, but I planned a safe route. Hug the right hand side and hope I don't get spotted. Will it work? Well, let's find out. Okay, maybe I should probably wait until the watcher is not facing me, so let's try that again. This time I make sure I get the perfect timing. I teleport around the watcher, pull the lever that opens the gate, and we are out of there, making it one step closer to rescuing Emily and getting revenge. Now at this point it's pretty simple. There seems to be no enemies here except that annoying plant once again, but all is good. We exit the sewers and here we are, back at the Ham Pits pub. This place has been overrun by watchers and guards, as you can see, but luckily with a few teleports we make our way up to where Emily is supposed to be. But you see, the problem is it's full of guards. Now for this part of the mission, timing is very important. For the first guard we have to wait until he exits the room, and once he exits the room we teleport behind him and knock him out. And we need to do this without anybody finding his body, so we hide it outside. After that we wait for these two guys to walk out the room once they're done talking, and then teleport in, taking out the only remaining guard that's there. But Emily isn't here. What is here is a note, and it's from Emily telling us to light a flare so that Samuel can find us and take us to where they've locked up Emily. We happen to find Callista, who I think I kind of let her uncle die, am I right? Well, she's hiding in the tower and we light the flare. Our boy Samuel comes to the rescue, and just like that, this mission is complete. 0 kills and 0 detections, thankfully. Now I'll admit, if I failed this mission, it would be so annoying to replay because it's like over an hour long. And now we begin our final mission. We arrive at a lighthouse where Samuel says it's where Emily is being held by Havelock. Now from here, this is the last time we're going to see Samuel, and what a legend, am I right? I mean, look at him sailing off into the distance, farming aura. Anyway, here we have two paths that we can take, the harbour side entrance or the beach side entrance. Now I opted to take the harbour side entrance as I figured that it looks less intimidating, so here we go. So I opted to take the beach side entrance as it looked less intimidating. So I opted to take neither option and go my own way, which is just swim around and hope nobody spots me. And hey, it worked, which surprisingly was a bit too easy. All I had to do was enter the tunnel from the side and we're in. Now from here we have to make our way to the gatehouse, and this part was very basic. All you have to do is wait for this guard to pass by, teleport behind him, wait for him to pass again, teleport behind again, and this time knock him out and hide his body. I mean, I don't even think I needed to knock that guy out, but I did it anyway. I mean, who's gonna stop me? I made a sharp right and exited out through the gatehouse drainage, which took me one step closer to the lighthouse. Now from here, all I had to do was make it to the lighthouse elevator, but to do so I had to climb up these stairs. However, there was one guard near the top that seemed like he was going to give me trouble, so I just knocked him out and hid his body. And we are so close to our final destination. From here, it's a simple teleport above the electric pylon and walk alongside these large metal beams, hop into the elevator, and there we have it. We are now at our final location, the lighthouse. Now this part is, in my opinion, the easiest out of any level in this game by quite a big margin. It's a very freedom heavy level. Once I exited the elevator, I immediately knocked out one guard, as I do believe that this one guard was the only person in my way. Now from here, the game allows you to teleport onto the roof of the entire building, which feels like cheating, but hey, if it's in the game it works, right? I then slow walk alongside the windows without falling, teleport towards the main door, and there we have it. Havelock is right there. All we have to do is teleport behind him, knock him out, grab the key to unlock the door where Emily is being held, and just like that, Dishonored has been completed with 0 kills and 0 detections. And as you can see at the bottom right, the achievements are there for confirmation. Well, hey!